Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back. I'm talking about a delay pedal today, and I love delay pedals, and I like delay quite a bit. I like this pedal quite a bit. I'm gonna just tell you right off the bat, this this thing's pretty great. It's the Brig. It's by Strymon, and it's a Bucket Brigade delay pedal. Now, the good thing about the Brig is it has three voicings. So the first voicing is the 3205. So the 3205 was found in some like DM2, Boss DM2 and DM3 pedals from back in the day. I think an Ibanez pedal used it. I'm sure there are a bunch of other ones, and I think it was used in a bunch of chorus pedals too. The 3005 chip was used in the Deluxe Memory Man by Electro Harmonics, the one that people love from, I think, the 90s? Maybe earlier than that, I don't know. But there's a time period of the Deluxe Memory Man that a lot of people seem to pine for. The multi-mode is pretty interesting. So this is a custom-voiced Bucket Brigade setting. The thing is, it's got two delay lines. So here's the concept. They're set at the golden ratio. The golden ratio is this ratio that's supposed to be golden. So that's pretty cool. I didn't know what to expect with that one, and it's again, this thing sounds pretty good. Pretty cool. Let me say one more thing before I dive into this, because I feel like I saw this conversation happening about this pedal on some other demos, and I wanted to just kind of address it right away. I'm not really covering whether the Brig recreates faithfully a Boss DM2 or a Deluxe Memory Man or anything else. I personally don't care. I'm going to take the pedal on its own merit. I'm not trying to recreate some Boss DM2 from that I had in 1987 or something. It doesn't matter to me. That may matter to some people, and that's cool. I'm not trying to criticize that. I'm simply saying this video is not going to focus on that because I don't really care about it. I also don't have those vintage pedals to do this comparison. All I care about is, does this thing sound good, and does it inspire me, and does it make me want to play guitar? So that, I think I'm going to answer the question right now and say yes. Let me show you what this pedal does. It's got a lot of features, and it's really good. So let's go.
Okay, so let's talk about the voice switch first. So this thing has three voicings. It's got a 3205, a 3005, and a multi. So the 3205 has the shortest kind of range of delay times. It goes from 30 milliseconds to 300. So very fast, obviously. So then we're going to go to the 3005, and this one has a longer range of delay times it does, right? So it'll go from 1 millisecond to 1 second. So ridiculously fast. To very slow. The repeats on this one sound a little, I guess, rounder to me. It's hard to articulate some of these differences, but you definitely hear it, and you definitely sense it when you're playing it. And then when we go to the multi setting, so this is Strymon calls them custom voiced cross-coupled delay lines with a golden ratio timing. So this is just their kind of fancy, more ambient, I guess, setting. It's definitely wider in the stereo field when you play with it. So if you're listening with headphones, or you're probably hearing that far more extreme than the other mode. So here's 3205. Here's 3005. And then multi. It's huge, right? Okay, so now we get to do the easy one, the mix knob. I'm going to go back to the 3205 setting here. So the mix knob, basically it goes from full dry. So let me run a loop here so I can twist this without too much trouble. So this is fully dry. Now this is full wet, so this is obviously taking the attack off. You're only hearing the delay. And then at about 3 o'clock is where you get this 50-50 split between your actual signal and the delayed signal. So, you know, you may think it's at noon. Nope, on this pedal it's at 3 o'clock. And actually, this is a good spot to maybe let you hear at full mix those repeats again. So here's 3205. So you're really hearing the repeats. Here's 3005. So you can definitely hear the tonal difference between those two. It's a different feel, and I wish I could get this across in the demo, but when you're playing this pedal, that feel, that sound kind of, I don't know, it impacts how you play with the delay pedal. And then in multi, obviously. So it's interesting, on the multi on this pedal, the repeats, they're very different. They're way cleaner, in my opinion, than the other modes. Like they have almost a, and I don't want this to sound bad, but almost a syrupy quality, right? Which is kind of reminds me of the Cloudburst a little bit. This kind of Strymon super clean soaring sound thing that they do, and that's not. I'm not saying that to pan the pedal at all, because I love it. I think it sounds really cool. It's just it's. I think a strength of this pedal, because you get, again, this vastly different sound out of this pedal from the first two analog delays. So it's pretty cool. Okay, let's get back to our first setting, the 3205. I keep thinking that's a 320S because that 5 looks too much like an S to me for some reason. It's screwing me up. But 3205, let's talk about the modulation knob here. So I've had it off the entire time. Obviously, it adds an LFO modulation to the delay time. The modulation is off at the minimum, and at the maximum, obviously, it's on fully. But the deal with this knob, and this kind of it's similar to the Cloudburst, and I actually didn't fully catch this when I first was messing around with the Cloudburst either, is so once you go from 0 to noon on this thing, it really changes kind of the speed, and then as you go past noon, the intensity and the speed both really crank up. It's not linear, so it's hard to, let me play it for you and I'll show you what I mean. So let's go back to our loopy thing here. And I'm gonna go full mix so you can really hear this. We're on the 3205 setting. Now, one thing I want to mention real quick is on the 3205 setting, when you kick in that modulation, the stereo field, if you're listening in headphones, you probably notice this, but the stereo field instantly widens significantly. It's far more narrow when the modulation is off. So that's just a nice kind of sitting in there modulation. And now you can hear it really getting intense. To where it almost gets organ-like, right? All right, let's get out of there. Let's check out the 3005. So no modulation. Same deal, you start kicking this in and you hear the stereo field increase. It starts getting almost organ-like at these higher settings. All right, let's go into multi-mode. Now this mode, the stereo field already sounds pretty wide to me in my headphones, so you know what, let me get that delay time to... Okay, it's not perfect, but it's close enough. It's pretty extreme there. Okay, let's talk about the repeats knob. So obviously this changes the number of repeats, and it goes from 1 to runaway oscillation. So let me show you the kind of range of these in the various modes. And we'll slow it down a bit for this 3205. So let's hop in there. So obviously at the lowest, you know, you have a very quick slap back if you want. So once we get past the 3 o'clock there, here we go. You can hear it kind of humming away in the background there. Okay, let's check it out with the 3205 mode. So yeah, single repeat. Now, I do want to say that in multi-mode, so here's what's going to happen. I'm going to let it go into self-oscillation, and it's going to get insanely loud and start overloading my interface. It's going to jump up super loud. So you'll probably sound a little crunchy when I let it do that, but just so you can hear what it does. Okay, we're right at the edge of this thing about to go crazy. So you can hear it starting to grab itself. Okay, and next we have the filter. So the filter, it does a bunch of things. So it adjusts the EQ, it adjusts the noise, and the bucket loss of the repeats based on whatever voice you're in. So it does different things to each voice. Let's start with 3205. I'm going to play my loop, and I'm going to go full mix so you can really hear what the filter's doing. So let's start kicking in the filter. So you can hear it starting to take away some of the high end and the grit. Just kick in some modulation. All right, let's try the same deal with the 3005. I got lucky with the delay time there. That works. Let's go full mix. But when they talk about the bucket loss and the noise, I feel like you get more bucket loss and more noise as you're kind of here at the 0 setting. So it almost seems to me like this knob, if it's set to 100, the filter is off. And if it's set to 0, it's fully on. And I don't know if that's really true, but that's kind of how I use the pedal. Maybe I've got something screwed up. I don't remember seeing anything in the manual that told me anything different than that. But all right, let's hear the modulation with that. As you can see, you can get into some pretty extreme tone shaping with this thing. All right, let's go into the multi. Kind of reset everything here. I'm gonna go full mix. Now this is the cleanest, most pristine of these delay voicings. That's actually a really cool setting. I like that one. Okay, so finally we're on the time control. So obviously this controls the delay time according to the selected voice. And it's continuously variable, which means that when you turn it while repeats are happening, you can get those pitch shift effects, as you heard me do earlier. So now, the Strymon manual and their website and everything talked about the delay time for the 3205 and the 3005. It did not say what the multi is. So I don't know why they didn't say the longest delay time is, but... So the longest delay time on the 3005 is 1 second. It seems like it's actually shorter than that. But maybe not. Hard to say. I feel like the multi at full delay time is very close or dead on to 1 second. It feels like it's close to that. It's really hard to tell because, when you're hearing the two delay lines kind of bouncing around, it's hard to pick out the one that's the original one, but it feels like timing wise, they both work at about the same tempo. So that's the deal with those. And then remember, the delay times can get really short on these too. Okay, so now let's talk about the Footswitch. Important thing to me on any delay, especially if you're playing live, is tap tempo, and this pedal does do that. Now, in just the everyday course of things, the switch turns the pedal on and off, so you have to enter tap tempo mode and then exit it once you want to turn the pedal off again. So that's how that works. So to enter tap tempo mode, you're going to hold down the switch for a second. And when you hold it down, you're going to see the light flash blue. So let's do that. So here's our current delay time, right? And let's say we want it slower. Okay, so let's hold this down. Boom, it turned blue. Now you can see it flashing red and blue intermittently. We're going to do a slower delay time. And then when you want to get out of tap tempo mode, what you do is the same thing. Hold this down for a second. Boom. So when you hold it down that second time, it stays blue and then it flashes to red. Release, and then you're back into normal mode now. You can turn the pedal on and off, okay? Okay, now the Brig also has power-up modes, and what that means is you can enable or disable features when you power up the pedal. There's a whole bunch of them. The Brig is true bypass default when it's set to mono mode, and when it's stereo mode, it's buffered. So that's one of those things you can change depending on what you want to do. You can change the LED brightness. You can choose whether the expression/MIDI jack in the back is MIDI or expression. There's all these little things you can tweak with the pedal as you boot it up.
So this demo's getting long. I'm going to try to be brief at the end here. So there's a bunch of features of this pedal I want to really emphasize. It's got full MIDI capability. It has an expression pedal output on it. That port shares the MIDI port. So you can plug in a MIDI controller or MIDI source or an expression pedal. Okay, but man, that opens up lots of control options with this thing, especially live. As far as power, it takes 9 volt at 250 milliamps. This does not come with a power supply. However, at those power requirements, if you have any sort of even remotely recent power supply, it's gonna work. Like 250 is not that high. As far as routing, it's got full stereo in and stereo out. That's very, very cool. And it has a USB port in the back in case they release a firmware update. I don't know what they would do with that, but it's on there. It's also on the Cloudburst. It's the same form factor and the same feature set on the back as the Cloudburst. So I think it's a really good decision they're running with that. Okay, so now let's get into, is it worth $259? Because that's what this pedal costs right now. There's a lot of pedals out there that are there's a wide range of prices for delay pedals right now. If you wanted an analog delay, okay, you could get a carbon copy by MXR, which is a good analog delay. A lot of people love that delay. That might be all you need. You could get a Boss DM3. There's a Waza one that I think goes for $180, something like that. And you could get an actual deluxe Memory Man by Electro Harmonics. I think those are like $240. And then I'm sure there's some others, but like after that, you're kind of leaping up to the Universal Audio Starlight at like $400. There's the Strymon Brigadier. I don't even know if they still sell that, but that's like the Papa version of this. There's also the Boss DM101, which is $500. You're entering this world where there's a lot of prices and a lot of different things to think about. Now, we are in the land of inflation that Doesn't seem to be stopping, and who knows when or if it's going to stop. But one thing I know is it's hitting everyone really hard. So if your budget is under $300, that's the occasion I would say you're looking at this. And I have to say, if your budget's $500, still look at this. It's a great pedal. It's way better than I thought it would be, to be honest. When I got it, I was like, okay, it's a Bucket Brigade delay pedal. I should try it. I need something to review, and I have space on my board for a delay pedal I was thinking of putting in. And I plugged this thing in, and it's one of those, an hour later I looked up and said, oh my god, like, this is one of those pedals that you can just kind of dive into, and it just takes you with it on the journey of delay. So there you go. All right, that's it. I've said, I think, way too much. So you have a good day. Thank you very much. Please like the video if you like it. Please share it and subscribe. Sorry to keep saying this crap, but, you know, it's YouTube. I have to do it. All right, that's it. I'll see you next time. Thanks.